Boys, today I'm going to show you how to become the Avatar in League of Legends with Urgot's itemization. Basically, there is 4 ways to play Urgot. There's 4 elements. Become the Avatar by mastering all 4 elements. So basically, there's aggressive, there's tanky, there's utility, and then there's building standard for the lobby, regardless of who's in it. Some champions work against other playstyles better, some champions are weaker against other playstyles. I'm going to show you which builds and items are better against these champions, so maybe you can adapt your playstyle a little bit better. So, let's start with Earth. Earth is when you want to be playing tankier. You want to be playing tankier against these champions because they either lack percentage HP damage, ability to deal with you through your resistances, or you want to just be playing more frontline against these champions in general. So a random team composition, let's say that they're playing Cho'Gath top, Rammus jungle, Katarina mid lane, Samira ADC with a Pyke support. This is a game where you should be indicated to build tank. So the Earth style is what you'll be looking to do against these champions. With a tankier playstyle, you want to be frontlining, but frontlining doesn't mean you have to be the first person in. Urgot is a really good second engage champion, so when you feel like the time is right and your champion is enabled, you can go in and do whatever the hell you want. Frontlining on Urgot is a little bit difficult because when you're frontlining, you're taking the brunt of the damage, you have to use your E defensively, and if you're using your E defensively, you obviously can't use it aggressively, right? Landing E on Urgot is usually crucial, but when you're doing a frontline build, you just kind of accept it, I'm here to absorb damage. These champions in general should just struggle dealing damage against you, so frontline with these builds. Fire. Fire is about aggression. Fire is about dealing damage to people before they can kill you. So when you see these champions in solo queue, in your brain, you should be like, oh, I should start building these items against these people. So again, random team composition. Aatrox as is their top laner. Their jungler could be any degree of Warwick, could be Fiddlesticks, it could be etc, etc. Mid lane could be Rumble, Seraphine, Vladimir. ADC Sivir, support could be Brand, and that's a game where it's easy to identify that you should go the aggressive build. The aggressive build makes you squishier, but it also makes you high damaging. The idea behind this is these people would deal enough damage to you with a tank build that they would just win out. So ideally, killing these champions before they're able to kill you is just more optimal than building defensively. That's the thought process behind the fire build. So when the champions are building high damage, you want to build high damage back into them, and you want to outplay them with your own playstyle. Air is champions that you can't really itemize against to be specifically good against them. So Air is more about flowing with the lobby and just understanding if they have these champions, the standard build items are just always going to be best. Under the champions here, you can see these very standardly built items, like Black Cleaver you should be building every single lobby, Titanic can be built every single lobby, Sterak's every lobby, etc, etc. These are just champions you can't really specifically itemize against, so you should take inspiration if you see these champions from the core build path, and then pay attention to more earth and fire and water to see what you should be itemizing. So against air, these are champions you can't really itemize against. Any build works against them. There's no specific playstyle best against them or itemize against them. So you should be itemizing for the rest of the people in the lobby. The items below are just the items that are best on Urgot every single lobby. And the last chapter we'll move on to here is water. Water are the champions that hard counter you. Every single one of these champions are pretty disgusting for Urgot to go against, so this is about swallowing your ego and understanding I should probably play utility or try to support my teammates. So against all of these champions, realistically speaking, you can either struggle to solo kill them, or they're going to actively be looking for solo kill angles on you. So if they're looking for solo kill angles on you and you can't react with anything yourself, what do? You look to build more utility. So let's say you're laning against Ornn. You can go Black Cleaver as your first core item, and then you can start building into utility if your jungle is doing very well. So Black Cleaver Redemption, maybe you can save your jungle a couple times, because you're not going to be using that item on Ornn on your second slot anyway. You might as well use your second slot item for your jungler. This is probably the most experimental playstyle you can go with. Water is obviously about supporting your teammates. It's more about a utility playstyle. I'm very used to this kind of playstyle because I hit Masters and Urgot support, so I'm used to using these items. The most common item you'll want to be using here is Chains. Chains and Redemption, I would say. Definitely Locket also. Are items you can commonly pick up and start using. Chains can nullify one specific champion's damage against you, so if they have a Fed Victor, by Chains, you'll probably reduce about 1,000 damage in a team fight. But generally speaking, when you see these champions locked in, you just have to swallow your ego and accept that you aren't the carry. Debatably, if they have Yuumi, Yumi's just generally really good against you in general, stops your damage, shielding, healing, movement speed, etc, etc. There's some niche situations where like the other builds are just objectively going to be better, but when you see these champions, you want to start thinking, how can I support my team? How can I enable my team? Because you against these champions are not going to be doing anything too much individually yourself. And that's it for when it comes to like mastering the elements. So the idea is, when you see these champions locked in solo queue, you'll want to start building your build based on like what is in the lobby. You can't just autopilot your way through when itemizing Urgot. If you try to autopilot your way through, not adapting your build, not adapting your playstyles, not adapting how you approach the lobby, you're gonna have a bad time. Alright, now you know what items are best against other champions, let's talk about how to build them and what build order to use them in. So on screen right now, you have the best assassin build and the best tank build. Generally speaking, any build will always use BC first as its core item, but you can also build Titanic first if you're more comfortable using Titanic. Titanic is a good item. It's more for like wave management and wave control, getting prio, being first to the fight rather than last to the fight. But you can live without it, and if you can live without it, I like to live without it. But if you like the assassin build, the fire build path, you want to go Black Cleaver into Prowler's Claw, into Sorreller's Grudge, into Steric's Gauge, into Guardian Angel or something more aggressive. So you can replace Guardian Angel with Chempunk Sword, the aggressive anti-heal item. You can replace it with Gargoyle. Gargoyle will give you about 1,000 shield because Urgot has naturally high base stats. Black Cleaver gives HP and so does Sterix, so it still stacks in. You can replace it with Serpent's Fang if they have an Ivan, Lulu, etc. But generally speaking, this build path you can run reliably in pretty much every lobby. The best tank build is Black Cleaver, Jack Show, Thornmail, Force of Nature, Gargoyle, Stoneplate. This gives you really good hybrid resistances against both damage types, but more so you'll do better, generally speaking, against AD champions. Force of Nature is kind of just the ultimate AP item. Force of Nature is kind of just the ultimate MR item, because no one can really deal with Force of Nature. If you like a more aggressive playstyle, you can also itemize more. I also recommend more in the best assassin build also. If your laner is AP and the jungle is AP, run more. If it's Mordekaiser, run more. If it's Gwen, run more. More is an incredible item that you need to itemize if they're AP. It works in tank builds, it works in assassin builds, it works in every single build. There is never a reason to not build more unless they're all AP. So keep more in mind. But this is the best tank build. Now, if you're playing for utility, which is rare, these games are rare for myself also, but there are games where these arise. You want to do Black Cleaver into Locket, into Titanic Hydra, into Redemption, into Chains, or something. You can swap it out. You can go Knight's Vow. You have a Fed Aphelios, you don't have to die. Just Locket, Knight's Vow him, peel him, Redemption him. But this is the best build path for the utility playstyle. And if you're not caring about piloting any build in particular, you just want to go into a ranked game and play Urgot, this is the best autopilot build. If you're not going in thinking, I just want to play Urgot, what should I build? You will go Black Cleaver, Titanic, Jack Show, and then Thornmail and Force of Nature. If you don't care about min-maxing, which is bad, this is the build for you. You can't really go wrong with this build path. It's pretty similar to the best tank build path. You just build Titanic because it just auto pushes ways out for you. There's also some room for like other items, like Bork. So let's say if you're going against a Heartsteel user, I always run Bork. Bork against Heartsteel, Scion, Cho'Gath, Mundo will just melt them. So if you're going against someone who is Heartsteel using, you go Black Cleaver, Bork, and then you fill out the build however you wish. So let's say the Earth playstyle works best against their team comp, but they have a Heartsteel user. You'll do Black Cleaver, Bork, Jack Show, and then you'll build defensive items. BC Bork, no tank can go against. And that's it. That's how you become the avatar of League of Legends. You have 4 playstyles to use. You have aggressive, you have tank, you have utility, and you have a playstyle that just works against everyone. You need to harness these kind of playstyles if you want to find success on Urgot. One build can't work every lobby, but your best bet is this build. Adapt your playstyle, adapt your items, adapt the way you think about the lobby. Not every game you can be the protagonist. Not every game you're gonna win. Not every game you're gonna lose. But you can put the most delta in your favor by utilizing different items, different playstyles, just learning to play the game in its core fundamentals. If they lock Anivia, what do? You can't kill her, so build utility, you know? So I hope it helped. 07s, please like the video, join the Discord, and maybe buy some merch. Wearing it right now, actually.
Damn, is that the Urpog merch? You know, go down like that.
Have you guys found the hidden mage got from this video? If yes, write a comment down below.